AM 1260 KLYC, and we are in the hallway of McMinnville's and about ready to have a lunch with, looks like, 5 speakers, 5 speakers that are UFO experts, shall we call them. And we're going to have a chance to talk to them here. We'll start here at the front of the door. Sir, what's your name?
I'm Peter Davenport. I run the National UFO Reporting Center, a position I've held for the last 20 years. And we offer people around the world a place to call if they believe they may have been witness to something unusual.
What's been happening this year?
I would direct people to our website. That's really the place to find out the answer to that question. But I think probably the most salient feature of the UFO reports that we've received over the last 2 years is the predominance of reports of clusters of red, orange, yellow, amber, and gold lights in clusters of up to 200. Last September 28th, we had a report from a retired Arizona Highway Patrol officer who estimates the number of them he saw was about 150. It's probably the most compelling part of the present-day UFO phenomenon.
Interesting. And we'd love to talk to you some more about it, and we will hopefully later, before the weekend is over. But we want to get everybody in here before they hustle you in for the lunch session. Thank you. Sir, your name?
Stanton Friedman, the flying saucer physicist from Fredericton, New Brunswick, Canada.
So what's going on in your field and in the skies this year?
I give lectures. I've spoken at over 700 colleges in all 50 states, 10 provinces, and 18 other countries. Typically, flying saucers are real. And I'm best known, I guess, because I'm the original civilian investigator of the Roswell incident. I've written 5 books. One of them deals with the infamous Majestic 12 documents, 3 of which I think are genuine, over 100 phonies, so I don't care about those. And I tend to be the go-to-it guy. I've been to 20 archives, look at documents. I had a security clearance for 14 years, so I know more than most about keeping secrets. And also because I worked on far-out propulsion systems, fission rockets, fusion rockets, nuclear power plants for space, so I can deal with the silly objections that you can't get here from there, which makes some of the ancient academics and fossilized physicists angry because they haven't done their homework. I do my homework.
Interesting. We'd love to talk to you, and hopefully maybe we'll have a few minutes right now, but we're trying to get everybody on before they hustle you in for lunch. So you going to be here this weekend?
Yes, I'm here until Sunday afternoon.
Okay, hopefully we can hook up, and I'd like to talk to you about Roswell.
I'm the Roswell man, yes.
Mr. Roswell.
Some people call me that.
Did it
I'll be
actually...
speaking there this July at the annual festival. Yes, it really happened. We recovered the wreckage of a crashed flying saucer and alien bodies. Strange as that might sound.
Well, let's talk later.
Yes.
And not in Roswell. We'll talk here in McMinnville.
Okay.
Sir, your name?
David Marler.
David, what's been going on in your skies, and what's your area of expertise for UFOs?
My area of expertise, I'm an independent UFO researcher, also a UFO historian, and just recently published a book on triangular UFOs. Many people think that all UFOs are flying saucers, or most UFOs are flying saucers. In fact, when you look at the statistics of the National UFO Reporting Center, the vast majority of UFOs reported today are, in fact, triangular UFOs.
So the big question, is there life out there? Do you think so?
There's definitely life out there. I mean, all the physicists agree now there have to be life-supporting planets out there based on all the available information. The big question is, and this is where ufologists and the SETI scientists differ, SETI scientists believe there must be life out there, whereas ufologists agree with that, but also agree with the fact that based on the age of the universe and based on our relative age, life may be in fact visiting here. And that's what we're looking at, are these UFO reports to try to substantiate that.
They're trying to steal you to feed you, so I need to get... Let's talk later.
Absolutely.
Sir, your name?
My name is Kiwoni Lapsaritis. I'm a social scientist that's been researching the Sasquatch Bigfoot phenomena for 57 years. In September 1979, a Sasquatch and an ET spoke to me telepathically, and it was a shock of my life. And I thought that was the end of it. I'd never tell anyone, but it was ongoing. And since that time, I have documented 268 people, physicians, professors, scientists, and people from all walks of life that have had the same experiences. So there is a Bigfoot UFO connection. I personally have had over 1,000 encounters in the last 35 years because they've asked me to write books. I've written 2 books on the subject, and they want the information out publicly. So I'm sort of a go-between, because the Sasquatch, in spite of what they look like, are really terrestrial extraterrestrials, and they're about 100 times more intelligent than we are. And they're also interdimensional, just like all the other ETs.
So there is a Chewbacca, is what you're saying.
You could label it that, but it's way beyond Chewbacca in what I've seen them do. And they're very kind people. They're a forest people. However, they're disgusted with us because the planet's dying. We're destroying it, and they don't like the warring going on, killing each other, and also, of course, hunting them. They think we're very primitive, and we've mislabeled them primitive because they're living. These intelligent people are living inside of a giant hairy body.
Interesting. Let's talk later. I know they want to feed you lunch, so let's get on down the road here. Have you ever heard of the Mutual UFO Network called MUFON? We are here talking to James Clarkson, who is the State Director of Washington for MUFON.
That's correct.
So what do you do?
Well, basically, we are a national and international organization of volunteer UFO investigators. We're organized around a central database called the CMS, Case Management System. Whenever anybody reports a UFO to MUFON, it goes through me first, and I determine whether or not it's something that should be assigned out to an investigator. I try to do some kind of an assessment based upon actually standard investigative principles. I've been involved in professional investigations, 20 years as a law enforcement officer, 10 years as a fraud investigator, and I use precisely the same techniques to evaluate this information that I do in my job.
Now, people think of typical UFO investigators as maybe a college professor from the 60s that's really been kind of out there on left field. But you, sir, have had law enforcement investigation experience, law enforcement field, so you bring an air of credibility to this. How did you get interested in this?
Actually, I got interested in this field because of a radio program many years ago when I was about 12 years old. A very famous author named John G. Fuller, his brand new book at the time was Incident at Exeter, and he was interviewed by KGO Radio in San Francisco, where I grew up. And it was just one of those experiences. I was completely captivated. I can't even tell you why. I started collecting books, magazines, articles. As the years went by, I was always interested in it. I ended up in the military police at Fort Lewis. That's how I came to Washington State. And I looked at the desk sergeant's table one day and saw a card for the National UFO Reporting Center, 206-722-3000. And I asked this military police desk sergeant, I said, "What's that?" And he said, very matter-of-factly, "That's where we report UFOs." And I thought, okay. And I never forgot that number. And in 1986, there was a very significant UFO sighting over Alaska involving an airline pilot. This is a very famous case, the Taroshi case. And I called the phone number and I said, "I'm not calling to report a UFO. I want to know how I can get off the sidelines and get involved." And the gentleman, who was a retired Seattle firefighter named Robert Gribble, he said, "Have you ever heard of MUFON?" And I said, "No." And thereby hangs the tale. And I've been very grateful for all of the opportunities and the wonderful people that I've met, and the most remarkable collection of information by very credible people over the years. I am compelled by the evidence. It's evidence that would stand up in any court of law. I can take most of the witnesses, not all of them, and I could get them qualified on a witness stand in any court anywhere. What people mistake in this entire field is they think that most UFO witnesses are crackpots or eccentrics. They are not. They are professionals from all walks of life, and they just are going about their business, their ordinary lives, when they're confronted with something utterly extraordinary with no conventional explanation. And I am compelled by the power of their credibility and the quality of their testimony.
Interesting. Do you have a website?
Yes, I do. It's James KLYCUFO.com.
Spell Clarkson.
CLARKSON.
Sir, I hope to visit with you more this weekend, and welcome to McMinnville.
Thank you very much. It's lovely to be here. This is the best UFO event.
UFO Festival in McMinnville. It's just getting underway. I'm Dave Adams, KLYC AM 1260.